Hey, good evening. It's Monday, May 27th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. Such an honor to start a new week with you. In the United States, this is Memorial Day, a day we remember those who have fallen to protect our lives and to give us freedom. But there's more to remembering than just certain events. Sometimes the remembering is painful. Sometimes even the energy to remember cuts us to the core because of maybe some of the hard things that have happened. Maybe some of those who have given their lives are folks that you know. So this day is indeed bittersweet. But Jesus talks about remembering when he talks about the Lord's Supper, talks about his death, that last Passover, that first Lord's Supper. When he distributes the elements, he says, "Do this in remembrance of me." We need to be able to remember God's faithfulness if we're to live. If we want to find life, we've got to be able to remember. We've got to be able to look past the really hard memories, the painful ones, and look past those things to see God's faithfulness. That's why Jesus wants us every time that we take the Lord's Supper to remember him. Because that means we remember what he did. Remember his sacrifice. And because we're all made in the image of God, the sacrifice of those who give their lives, who pay the ultimate price in protecting our country, who've died in combat, those people, they represent something in the image of God, because God in Christ has sacrificially given himself for us. Praise has to do with remembering. We've talked about this several times. But praise is remembering the wonderful, beautiful qualities of God and the good things he's done for us. Praise is a command to remember those things, to remember God's faithfulness, to remember his care, to remember the great things that he has done in the past, both for all of the history of his people, but the great things he's done for you and me. But sometimes our memories are so painful that it blocks that out. Which again, I take us back to Jesus' words. We come to communion, we come to the Lord's Supper, remembering Christ, that his death conquered death. His life, dying, giving his life in death, means that you and I have new life. It means that we no longer have to be afraid of our memories. Because there's one who's behind all of these things. That's Jesus. Even the things that are too hard for us, too painful for us. Because Jesus died and wants us to remember that death, remember his sacrifice, then I can see all the hard things through the lens of one who paid the ultimate price for me. So that's why we say to remember is to find life. So often we're so busy trying to push it all away, trying to forget, that we lose sight of the ability to remember the good things. And those good things all flow from the one good act of Jesus. His death, remembering his death, is what gives hope to life. Maybe you're really hurting tonight. Maybe this Memorial Day is one that you would just as soon not remember or try and forget. Jesus says, do this in remembrance of me. Remember his life, remember his body, the blood, so that we can have hope. To have these kinds of memories, to know that life is not all meaningless, to know that my pain is not wasted and not lost, but that Jesus, through his life and then his death, and then coming to life again, puts all those things in perspective. He takes our painful memories, combines them with his care for us, his death for us, and then tells us to remember that, so that we're not overwhelmed by our painful memories, but we're overwhelmed of the memory of the one who makes all things right, of the one who gives us hope. Think about that this night. To remember what Christ has done. That's what it means to live. Maybe you're hearing the cicadas in the background. First time I've heard them like this year. Maybe more are coming. They have a short life cycle, and they'll be gone. We are not gone. We are bound up in the promises of God. He will keep us. He's conquered death. Remember that on this Memorial Day. Thanks so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.